Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To all my brothers and sisters all around the Muslim world, I love all of you for the sake of Allah. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. I begin in the name of Allah and thanking Allah and asking Allah to send salat and salam upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This is another reminder first to myself. Anything I put out by the mercy of Allah is first always to me. We seek Allah's protection from all forms of hypocrisy. Ameen. The reminder today, inshallah, is going to be about begging. If you look at the life of Prophet Muhammad, if you read his seerah, the sealed nectar, or any legit biography of him, you have to check the source. Make sure it's a biography of him that is, scholars recommend or students of knowledge recommend. You can't read anything about Prophet Muhammad because a lot of people lie about him. But if you read a legit biography of Prophet Muhammad, preferably the sealed nectar, that's the famous one, you will notice that he taught his companions about honor. He taught his companions about honor. You will notice that he instilled in them principles. He taught them about honor, glory, things like this. And Allah teaches us, and Prophet Muhammad teaches us to carry ourselves in an upright, honorable, dignified, praiseworthy fashion. Doesn't mean you seek praise, because you don't seek praise from anyone except Allah. Seek Allah to praise you, not the creation. But we are taught to have moral excellence in our religion of Islam, in our deen, our way of life. Begging is not something a Muslim should get his or herself involved in and practice that particular practice. I'm not saying begging is haram, it's forbidden. I'm not saying that. But a Muslim, that's not the character of Prophet Muhammad, and that's not what he taught us. He taught us about honor. He taught us about, high morals, high standards, high principles. He didn't teach us to be proud. So I don't want to be misunderstood. He didn't teach us to be proud. And he didn't teach us to be, arrogant, like that. But he taught us to rely on Allah. That's what he taught us. He taught us to rely on Allah. Not to rely on people and the creation for their help, but he taught us to rely on Allah. What did he say when the people were gonna hurt him? When the people were gathering, the enemies were gathering to hurt him. What did he say? Hasbi Allahu wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for me, and He is the best to put trust in. Allah is sufficient for me, and He is the best to put trust in. This is what the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam taught us in his sunnah. So we need to adopt this practice. We rely on Allah. We do not rely on our own hands, because a Muslim will tell you all day. One thing a Muslim will tell you all day a Muslim will tell you this. Yes, brother, but Prophet Muhammad, he taught us that, you're supposed to tie your camel and trust in Allah. So you have to tie your camel. You have to do your part. Wait. We take that and we use it incorrectly, because what we really mean when we say trust in Allah and tie the camel, we really mean 99.9% tie the camel. That's what we really mean. 99.9% tie the camel, and 1% trust in Allah. If we trust in Allah at all, 1%. That's not what Prophet Muhammad meant. That's not what he meant at all, by a long shot. He didn't mean that we strive, and our whole thinking is that we have to do this. We have to get ourselves out of this situation. We have to change things. We have to do something. That's not what he meant with his sunnah, with his teaching us. No, what he meant was that you work as if everything depends on you, and it doesn't. Knowing that it depends totally on Allah. This is what the Prophet ﷺ meant in his teachings. He didn't mean what we think. Trying to think that we, relying and believing, having faith and iman in our hands. That's not what he meant. He meant for us to do what is in our ability that is reasonable. do what is reasonably in our ability to help ourselves, wake up in the morning, go work, talk to people, make deals, help ourselves out. But through all of that, having in mind, nothing is going to happen to me except by the will of Allah. And no one is going to get me out of my situation except Allah. And while trying to help yourself, making dhikr, making remembrance of Allah, while you're going to this appointment, while you're going to this job interview, while you're doing this, while you're doing that, trusting totally in Allah. This is what the Prophet ﷺ meant. This is his sunnah, not what we think. So don't misunderstand his teachings. May Allah give us understanding. We ask Allah for so much. Most of the time, it's something to do with our biggest desire is money. No. Ask Allah for understanding of the deen. So we need to put trust in Allah. We do not rely on people to help us and to change our conditions, relying on him, relying on her. No, we rely totally on Allah, and we go out and do our part, and we try to help ourselves. And this is the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad. Not to be begging and asking people for things. That's not what a Muslim should do. I'm not saying begging is haram, but it's not what Prophet Muhammad taught us. He taught, alayhi salatu wasalam, to not ask for anything except if you are totally helpless. And I'll give you an example. Musa alayhi salam. Read the story of Musa alayhi salam when he left Egypt because they were trying to kill him. What did he have? He didn't have anything. He was in the middle of nowhere in a foreign land with nothing. He was exhausted. No food, no drink. He didn't have anything. But what did Musa alayhi salam do? Did he go around begging people? Yo, can you help me? Can you give me? Can you give me? Can you give me? That's not what he did. He said to Allah, Ya Allah, I am in need of you have for me. Anything good you have for me, I am in need of it. And subhanallah, before that day was out, he had, alhamdulillah, a wife, and he had a job. And I don't know if he got married that day or started working that day, but he met a man, and the man offered him his daughter, and he offered him a job because Musa was righteous. So if you are righteous, what does Allah say in Surah 60, chapter 65? If you have taqwa of him, he will provide from you from ways you could never imagine, and he will basically make your situation easy. He will remove your difficulty. This is what Islam teaches. So may Allah help us to adopt this. I love all of you for the sake of Allah. Any questions or anything I can do to help, inshallah, hit us on the YouTube, hit us on the Facebook. Love all of you for the sake of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.